can you finish the talk, and then we will introduce what we are doing here. You
Yeah,
were saying
I just
so, yeah.
yeah, when you said NFTs, I mean, I'm, as you said, freelancing for Stargaze, and one thing that surprised me coming more from the DeFi space into NFTs is it's a whole different community, and I keep being a bit like, but it's just a JPEG, and people are like, yeah, but it's fun, it's cute, I love it, and I get very much surprised about this, and I also find it extremely interesting.
Yeah. Like, so let me introduce. We're live with the. No, we are never late. I actually like the. I had the chat with Joe. I wasn't really late. Maybe just a little bit. We are not late. We're chatting a little bit in the private. Hello, Rarma. Hope you are doing well. So I'm now here with the Kine. I feel like you are not very well known. Because I don't see you a lot engaged in the fights on the Twitter. Uh, but you are building some products for the Cosmos ecosystem, and I think it's really wise to give exposure to the projects, especially if they bring the value. So, if I want to know a little bit more about you, I just know you are kind.
Hmm.
Like, who are you? And when did you join Cosmos? Like, like I want to know a little bit background story here.
So I'm Kane or Kine, depending on which pronunciation you like. I joined Cosmos like roughly 2 years ago and started working for Confio. And since this summer, I've been working mainly on my own project and part-timing for Stargaze on the side. So that was my whole introduction into to crypto. I do remember back when Bitcoin came out and the financial crisis had just hit, and I started working in a bank that I found it very interesting, and I really thought about buying for $100 of Bitcoin back then, but I decided not to because I thought it sounded too much like, I mean, it was too expensive to find some places where I could buy it.
Well,
So
I
that was
still
worse.
think I still think it's a scam. Bitcoin is a scam. It's not gonna work. No, I'm joking,
But
but I do think it's gonna age. I think Bitcoin is um I think Bitcoin will age. That's the what color is this? What color is this? Show me. I think I seen it. Is it Fritz color or something like that?
it's cool.
Oh, yeah,
Typical
Fritz
German
color.
thing.
It's very, yeah, yeah, yeah. We have this in Poland too. Yeah, we have
It's
it.
my
It's
favorite. It's loaded
is
with
it?
coffee, and that's why I love it.
Oh,
No,
like,
but
like there is
mhm.
sometimes this like crafted cokes, like they are really good. Like, in Europe you can find those, like they are much richer flavor. They have some spices. I think it's really cool. So you said you worked for Confio.
Yeah, I worked for Configure the first 1.5 years and was involved in building T-Grade for them. And we started building a lending protocol for osmosis. Unfortunately, that was never deployed, so that was a bit of a bummer. And now Stargaze and myself, mainly myself and Stargaze on the side.
So you are
And
Cosmos developer, right? Like you are
no,
expert
no,
in the
no,
Cosmos.
I cannot code. I can do a bit of really, really bad Python coding, and I usually joke with the developers I work with that if I want to punish them, I show them my code, and I guess they will die laughing usually.
So
I,
what's your
what
niche?
I usually do products and projects. So typical all this coordination of who does what should we do, and there's always these small millions of questions. And now for my own project, it's also very much like everything that's not coding. So a bit of marketing, a bit of writing, a bit of this, all the stuff. Do a bit of BD. Um,
So
mhm,
so the useless people like me also
yes,
can do stuff, and
exactly. Oh, yeah, yeah,
y-
yeah, yeah.
you said you came from DeFi. Okay, you see, I hope you don't mind before we get like into your product.
Mhm.
um I want because I was sometimes I'm bullish on DeFi, and then I'm like losing this. And now I'm in the stage that I'm not very bullish on DeFi. So
Hmm.
um, like I actually even like made the video. I have big doubts if the DeFi could ever replace the traditional banking. Like it's like the traditional banking, I don't care what will people say, is so much better. Like at this stage, it
Hmm.
offers traditional banking is superior of like to DeFi. Um do you
Yeah.
feel I'm wrong? I want you to know. Am I like completely wrong here?
No, actually, I completely agree with you. I think one of the key problems with DeFi is it's a bit in its own bubble. Huh? And unless we manage to make DeFi something that's actually useful for 90% of the people in their daily lives, I don't think it will become interesting. It will stay some kind of weird niche product like buying gold or
Mhm.
a platinum for investment. I do think, and I emotionally have a bit the same like you. Sometimes I'm a bit like, yeah, this is the future, and other days I'm a bit like, okay, this is the joke. But I do really think that if we can manage to tie DeFi into the normal money stream that you have through traditional
Mhm.
finance and start using it, my dream would be that, and what I really want to do is to my product attach a credit card, so that the staking yield, I want to issue you a bond basically. That's what I want to do in the end. Now we just have the first component ready, but what I would really want to do would be saying, okay, this bond we issue you, this could go into a credit card, huh? And then you can use this credit card to pay with in the shops. Um, because then suddenly my DeFi yield could actually buy me coffee. And I think that's why we need to go, because currently I have this feeling like I can yield farm all I want to, and I basically can only do one thing with it, and that is either exit or yield farm more with it. Uh, and that's not paying my rent. It's not giving me, it
Yeah.
needs some kind of daily usage.
This is such a great point what you said about credit card, right? Like I can only have, I'm so underfinanced because of my situation. I can only use American Express, right? So I
Hmm.
love using it because I like people are so against credit. I want to tell to people credit is the greatest thing ever. Credit is the king. Like the credit is one of the greatest monetary invention that sparked massive development in technology, like leaving credit. So I'm using obviously my Amex. Well, it's on my wife
Hmm.
actually, but i'm building i'm I'm building her credit history with that.
Hmm.
I'm also getting points which we later exchange to the free hotel, free this, free that, right? It's actually there is maybe some credit cards offer the cashbacks for using this. So if you could connect the DeFi and have like DeFi card where in the shops they process this card and this card earned a certain fee from this, but then you also earn the yield. This is how you incentivize for people essentially using in the stable coins, right? Because DAO tokens, I don't really see that, but it, it has to get integrated in real world and not only credit cards, like credit issuance. Like um could I say you are some sort of entrepreneur, kind, right? if
Whatever label you want to put on me,
if you
go
don't
ahead. Huh?
have money, right, you don't
Um,
have money, you have some credit history, right? If you
yes,
want,
and I do have a credit. Yes, it's a small one, luckily. Huh?
and if you would like to start a business, where would you go to get money?
Some place where there is money. Huh? I think there's two options: either you find investors or you find a
Mhm.
bank. But and I think that kind of brings us back to the whole thing with DeFi, where I mean, like you said, and I think that's probably not a very popular opinion in blockchain, but there are a few inventions in traditional finance that has been really great. Huh? One is the net clearing system, and the other one is credit. because it enables people to do a lot of things without money. Huh? Like I studied history and a bit of financial history, and one thing I found really interesting, like back in the 1100, people would meet on the market, they would sell all their goods, and typically nobody had money back then. Huh? So you might have a whole community where you had like one silver
Hmm.
coin for sharing because nobody sold anything for money, there was no money, and only the guy over there had money. Huh? Now, then you pull up all your goods, you agree on the 3 days of trading, and the value of them, and you just change. And in the end, you just have all the credits that, like, I bought this from you, you bought that from him. You settle the score, and if that score of money is equal to or less than what you actually have in cash, you can settle it. So that means you can trade for 20 billion on a small market with one silver coin, as long as the difference between buyer and sellers is not bigger than one
Hmm.
silver coin. And with DeFi, we would just be stuck because we wouldn't be
Hmm.
able to afford it.
Yeah, like this is so good. Like, because people don't realize like this great invention of the traditional finance that we actually have that make our lives so much better.
Mhm.
And there is credit, right? There is also the
Uh, You mentioned credit card, huh? And I think somehow the obvious model for blockchain to get into would actually be a
Mhm.
payment system. Huh? But I think the main issue is a payment system. It really needs scale. Huh? I wouldn't get a credit card that's not accepted at any shops. In the same way, I wouldn't get a crypto pay in the shop wallet if there's no shops accepting it, and the shops wouldn't get it if there's no
Mhm.
people having it. Huh? So you have this, like, you need both sides at the same time. But from how it's built, I think this is the obvious one, but we're not there yet. So the workaround for me would really be credit card integration, and then you can be as pissed as you want to with Visa and Mastercard. They have a
Mhm.
global reach.
Yeah. So like with that, I want to know, like, is it possible for DeFi, like, because like, okay, we have credit creation, but in DeFi we don't really
Mhm.
have credit creation. It's impossible, right? It's impossible to create deposits on people accounts. Is it, do you think we can evolve to
So
that we will be able to create credit in DeFi, and like how it would look? Maybe it would, because I meant like it would be scam. Like if you issue credit, people just disappear and you can't even trace them, right? Like that's it.
I think we're gonna end up in a two
Hmm.
version of credit. And one would be very much in the DeFi sense, where we know today, like, you can use it for long and shorting. You have something valuable, you put it down as collateral, a bit like going to a loan shop. Huh? Here's my expensive guitar, now give me
Hmm.
$100. Huh? And the other one would be again tied into the traditional system, where you kind of need to know the identity of the person so you can hold them reliable with
Hmm.
the legal system. And I think that's again here where we have this incompatibility between a lot of what I see and hear and read on Twitter, between it all needs to be decentralized and rejection of the traditional one. Because one thing, for example, this whole, like, do we need a constitution on a blockchain or not, is that we have no good enforcement mechanisms, because the enforcement mechanism comes from the executive branch that drags you off to
Hmm.
jail. Well, first a judge and then jail. Huh? And that we're missing. And I think that's where we need to somehow get these two things to be combined. Huh? So my first step here is maybe trying to do that a bit different. So if I may switch a bit into my product here, we have an auto compounder ready here. It's a smart contract. It will auto compound for you. But that for me would be the first step, because now we can start locking up your tokens and issue you a loan based on the future yield of your
Hmm.
stake. And I know it's not really the same, because you still need to have money to borrow money, but at least it's against the future yield, and that's, I think, is halfway getting there. Huh?
I hope we will get a little bit there, so we could be a little bit more efficient. I'm going to go to your product Interstake. You know,
Mhm.
let me share it. Maybe I can do it. So um, this is the Interstake. And I
Mhm.
want to ask you, because we do have some of the staking protocols. on available.
Mhm.
There is Restake, there is Eldmos. So I just want to know, is it something like this, or there is any difference there?
There is actually
Uh-huh.
a difference in the sense like the other ones are based on or the offset component. So you give somebody the authorization to claim and restake on your wallet. And what we do here is we have built a smart contract that we have put between the validators and you. So you put the money into the smart contract puts it to the validator, and the smart contract then claims and restakes for you.
So it
That
removes
also
the danger,
that
right?
also
Like,
makes this
because with Restate there is still the danger, because if the validator gets somehow, I don't know how to say it.
slash.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it gets
Mhm.
slashed, you take here we currently we launch with just one validator, but we need to expand the validator set. We picked a random one, so none of ours at the moment. Uh, but it collateralizes, it broadens it. It's
Mhm.
collective. Huh? So instead of having you put all your money in one validator, it's spread across. So if one of them gets slashed, you get less slashed. You still have the risk of slashing that comes
Mhm.
with staking. But I think the key difference here is that we can issue you a loan, and that's what we're working on building next. We can issue you your loan based on the value that you put into the smart contract, because then we
Mhm.
hold your token, and that would not be possible with the Restake app, because you could just take your token away and there will be no future yield. Like this, we can make sure that the token stays in the contract till your loan is paid out.
So I saw there's few wallets, but you cannot connect Ledger, right?
Um, I hope no. Yes, you should be able to use Ledger. I'm a bit surprised. It looks like was that the main
Let,
page or was
let's
that
see,
the
like,
beta page
connect
you
to
went
Juno,
to?
right? I have Kepler Mobile, Kepler, Cosmos Station Mobile, Cosmos Station, and Leap. It's
That's, yeah, that's been a deploy arrow here. I can see this is the beta version that got online a bit too
s-
quickly.
s-
Um, thanks.
but we will. It's possible, right?
The yeah, yeah. Yeah, I need to check into why we got the wrong version deployed. This is our beta version, where we incorporated with the Cosmos kit and
Hmm.
support more wallets. It has a bug, so you cannot connect with the ledger. And our current production version, which was apparently overwritten by a demo version, it works with ledger.
People want me to interrogate you. I don't know about about what.
Go ahead.
But yeah. So
But as Swat 2 says, well, let me after the call, let me roll back to the proper version, and it
yeah,
will work with ledger.
soy.
Yes.
I have the soy in the. I have contact with soy. Like, I will send the proper version as well. If there is ledger, that's great. I think there is like a restake support ledger, but as you said, there is the issues, and I don't really. I think restake is great.
It
The
depends.
UX is like so. I do like how your page works, but there is only Juno integrated, right? So there is a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
And you said it goes to smart contract. There is
Mhm.
no risks for the delegator. And you said about issuing loan. So here is the question: why not just use liquid staking?
Because I think liquid staking is going to be a UX nightmare, and I think it has some built-in inefficiencies. Speaking of crypto again, huh? Because first of all, like if you look at, for example, Stride, and you look at the amount of, if you look at the APR you get on staking according to Kepler, Osmo, and you look at the APY that Stride offers, they actually offer
Hmm.
smaller amount. So you're going to end up being more poor putting your tokens into Stride, Osmo into Stride, and getting Stride Osmos out than if you just
Hmm.
staked. And if you then compound it once in a while yourself, you're going to be even better off. Um, the second thing is then you need a trading pool because nobody is accepting Stride Osmo. But that means this trading pool needs to be incentivized. And if you look at how the incentivization is going, then what you basically get is you get a loss by putting your Osmo
Hmm.
into to Stride Osmo. Oh, well, you get a small gain, but you could get a bigger gain yourself, or do you even get a loss? I need to look that up again. It's a bit different for the
I
different
totally
tokens they
get you
support.
because
But there's really,
yeah, like I understand what you're saying.
but then you need to throw it into a trading pool, and this trading pool is then incentivized, but it's mainly incentivized with Stride coins. So instead of getting a nice APR like we could do with the auto compounder once we hopefully get into to the Osmo chain, where you get your bonus in Osmo, you're going to replace this basically
Hmm.
with the Stride token.
So
And then comes the second part, like what is the value of the Stride token? That's going to be damn difficult for you as a user to figure out, because unbundling it will give you one value versus the trading pool. And if you then have the option to mint an NFT with Stride, Quicksilver, and all these different liquid token protocols, you don't know whether 7Q Q Osmo is the same as 6 Stride. I think that's why it's not going to work out long term. I might be
mhm.
wrong, but that's my thesis.
I see the problems with it. The APR is slightly less, so the APY on Stride, right? So um, I guess for those who want to stay liquid all the time, that's the
Hmm.
solution. Because remember, like when there is bull market, everyone tries to time it. So for
Hmm.
people will be, I'm just gonna do it there. I'm gonna earn yield, but when the shit starts happening, I can sell and leave, right? It probably will end up bad because it will makes the liquid asset depegged
Hmm.
heavily when there is panic, and it's, but I don't know, maybe actually not. um but yeah, like in order to get larger yield, they are heavily dependent on incentives, in this case Stride incentives, right? Because they need to split the Osmo holding there, so there is half of the yield. So the incentives need to be over the other half to actually make the sense. So there was this, sorry for going there, so there was the,
Hmm.
in the Atom 2.0, I don't know how you voted. Do you want to share how you voted Atom 2.0?
Uh, I was very much in doubt. I think I ended up voting abstain after having changed my mind 7 times.
Me too. So, but there was the part about liquid staking will replace, and everyone will liquid stake. But what you just said, it's just not gonna happen. It's so.
I think one of the prerequisites for liquid staking to really take off would be like having one united liquid staking protocol. Huh? Also, to
Mhm.
because I mean, if you have Q atoms and I have Stride atoms, and Sailboy has some other, we need to swap them around. And if we had, I think the whole problem, well, it goes back again to kind of the starting point where you said like traditional finance. If we lived in a traditional finance world where we had like 40% inflation a year, we would also be acting very differently. Huh? And we need to take that inflation out of the equation, huh? And we need to have one coin to trade with. Huh? Like in the eurozone, we use the euro. And that is just how money works. It needs to be something everybody is used to. If you have 7 kind of euros with different values, it would be hell.
Mhm.
So if we want to go liquid staking, and I think it's right, it will go in that direction. I also think we're going to end up with a need for one protocol that we share. Our take on it is that in the auto compounder, we have built in a transfer function. So I could stake 10 Juno, as we're only on Juno at the moment, and I could transfer them to your account. So
Mhm.
we kind of have this similar, you can move the money around like you can with liquid staking, but without having to deal with a derivative token.
But I want to ask you, because I will be able to borrow via your app, right? But to borrow, you have to have supplier of the loans, right?
Yes.
How do
Uh,
you send? So how
uh,
to, if you have high stake in inflation, it doesn't really make sense for them to be borrowers much,
yes.
right? So
Think
how it's.
think make a DAO, but instead of issuing you a stablecoin, we issue you a bond,
Mhm.
and then we take a cut of the staking rewards and use that to buy back the bond over time.
I would have to think about this a little bit, but I like the bond idea. So I really
Hmm.
like the bond idea. So here is now, like, let's say I'm the yield freak, right? So I'm
Mhm.
putting, because I see it's June only available, soon Stargaze, then Chihuahua. I will make video. I will try to use it. Okay, like some
Mhm.
other day. There is no borrowing yet, but it will, if there will be. So you say I supply it. There is my Juno. You give me bonds.
Mhm.
Can I exchange these bonds with other tokens then? Uh,
Yes, that needs a trading pool.
so then I take the bonds.
Mhm.
Well, that will be hard to build the trading pools also on Osmosis and stuff. Maybe not so hard. So
I
then
think
I essentially can also take this,
sell it for something and do something else with it.
and I can essentially loop it, right? Of course, the more loops, the more danger I put myself in, but that's how I can do. Or I also can take bonds, I can go do liquid staking, and gives me like essentially a lot of liquidity with that, right?
Uh, I
So
mean, that's kind of where my idea came when I was working with Confio, building out the initial lending protocol that never got used by Osmosis. Was I was playing around with Aave, and I was a bit like, oh, I can borrow tokens, I can put them back in as collateral and borrow more tokens. How many times can I do that? I was like, oh, I can do it 7 times. But man, why do I need to then do it 7 times back again? Couldn't I just make one button says,
yeah,
"Let me get out right now"? Huh?
yeah, this is so weird because everyone is so fixated on copying Aave here. Um and I don't know, like it sounds too simple, like like what you say now, but it actually like makes a lot of sense. Like this is actually DeFi. Like this is pretty cool use for staking. I can see Rarma, not sure if you know Rarma approves. If
Yeah,
Rarma, and so Rarma says that's quite clever. At the end of X period, you own nothing on the loan and still have your collateral.
yeah,
Um, his assets, not collateral. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah,
We
that
missed
sounds.
on.
When do you think we could actually expect such a? I imagine not maybe soon borrowing, right? And
Oh man, that I don't want to answer those questions because I mean this is what we're working on at the moment.
mhm.
When we'll have it ready, no idea. Hopefully
Look,
soon. And soon will be. I don't want to say Q1 and then it becomes Q3, and I don't want to say Q3 and it becomes Q2. Or
mhm,
I can just say that I think these predictions of when you go live with something is extremely hard because typically what I see in all projects I was involved in is that you think like, oh, it's easy, I just need to do this. And then once you dive down into this part, you realize, oh, this part has all these complexities. So this part is actually this big. And then, suddenly your work task is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Q1 is going to be like
mhm.
Q8020.
Um, I want to share something because there is one downturn of your app, okay,
Mhm,
and it's because of the, like, I know why people should use it, okay,
mhm.
but let me share the screen. So I am on the Interstake right now, and in my validator, you can see I'm staking 85 Juno, and my wallet balance is around 10. It's few days of my staking rewards. So with other restake apps, because they are done on the because they are done by the validator, not in your own custody, you can transfer the staked assets, like you can make it right away. Your staked assets will be auto compounded, right? But with your app, because it goes to smart contract, it can't be moved because it's staked. So I
Yes.
can see that only the new staking rewards can be put there.
Yeah.
It kind of take away. I mean, I would advise people doing this. I like what I see, but
Mhm.
it's downfall of your project that you cannot get a lot of new customers, right? Those who stake 10,000 Juno and they just come and stake. So,
Yeah.
I have the balance, so I could deposit now, right?
Yeah, sorry, you're on the
Well,
demo side. I need to get the to the production side back on the main side.
yeah, okay, but
You
like
need to put a number.
I'm gonna make the video on the good side, right?
Maybe if you, I know why this error it comes because there was nothing in the amount. If you wrote in
Mhm.
one, it would work.
Oh, okay. So let me actually see deposit. Oh, um,
But as you said, like, yeah, I think the whole problem here, at least initially, is like, if I have 10,000 units staked, would I unbound them and throw them
oh
into
yeah.
my contractor? And then you need to do the calculation, like, what do I lose for doing that? Our workaround is then using an offset authorization to just take your daily
Mhm.
yield and put that into the
Mhm.
smart contract.
You mentioned that so that you choose the validators, right? So that's
Mhm.
the and the people cannot choose the valid. Is it few? Is it one? How does it look?
The goal is getting a selection of validators that supports decentralization. Because what I think I could see at Cosmoverse was that there's going to be some competition for the most decentralized price next year. I can see it
Hmm.
sounds like June is interested in it. I think Stargaze is interested in it. And I think it's also an important point. So I think the whole point of the validator selection needs to be low fees and supporting decentralization, and more than one. Now we just started, so we just picked one for starting.
Sorry, but I need to remove the. I'm being spammed with the sex pages. It
Not from
happens.
me.
I okay. I can I. No, I think it's blocked, but yeah, sorry.
Good.
Well, that
I get the
happens.
production side back up instead of the demo side.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's a trolls or it's actually like really advertisement because I also get this these comments on my YouTube. Um, when you start supporting Stargaze and like also on Juno, like how many validators is there right now? Is it one or is it more?
It's one right now, simply because we launched Friday 1.5 weeks ago, and the basic selection was like, hey, let's find a validator that's low down on the list and
Mhm.
is active in voting.
Who is it?
And
Who is the validator?
that was so random, I don't even remember. And we didn't look into what do they vote, and but it was lower. It was on the lower third of the list, I think, of what they had delegated to.
Yeah,
Uh,
you need to
and
be
it's
careful.
a bit more
Mhm.
thoroughly. As to Stargaze, we have a Commonwealth proposal, Commonwealth discussion out. I don't remember how many days it needs to be in Commonwealth before we can create a proposal to actually get allowed to upload the code.
Mhm.
It's been up there, the discussion, for 3 or 4 days, and I think it's 7. I might be wrong about that. So I was hoping that in a couple of days we can actually put the governance vote out to get on Stargaze.
Mhm. And I also like how many chains you would like to support later on? Like, is there
All,
any
all chains that support custom WASM.
well,
And I
Soy doesn't believe you that you don't remember the one validator. How is it
Okay,
possible?
let me look it up, and I can tell you, but I need 2 seconds here. That
How
is
many
the
Juno is staked? I don't imagine it's many, right?
no, it's not many. It's the validator called 01 node.
01 node. Ooh, don't approve. Mm, 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 mm. Let me see. Is it? I feel the 01 was voting against me recently, and I don't really like this. I truly don't.
Sorry for that.
I
My fault.
mean, I mean, whether you play the team or you don't play the team, whether you know how to play or you don't. You,
So
I invite
okay,
you on my channel, and
and
you
I picked the wrong
disrespecting
validator.
me like this. Wow.
Oh, sorry. That's interesting. Thanks for that. I just looked at Juno, and they look to be rather small on the Juno list.
No. Yeah, 01 Note. I like those guys, but they voted yes on Prop 89 that I don't like. And on Juno, I think they voted against the proposal I put. Well, it's good. It's good. Like I'm showing you as you. Yeah, they're actually big validator. So they are. Mm,
So my bad about that. Sorry for not checking that. That's the due diligence is pretty on me. What I looked at was just the Juno list. I noticed they only had 100,000 Juno staked. I was a bit
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I can tell you it's hard to choose. It's hard to like know like once you have many validators, right? Like on one chain, the validator is like not so high in the rank, but then you go on the other chain and they're actually very high. But I thought zero one was actually well positioned on Juno. I
Mm,
I don't know if it was. Ah no, it was zero base is well positioned,
zero
zero
one
one
node.
maybe. Tintin, yeah, 67 on the hub. Um, they say just don't pick Dom,
Okay, thanks. Advising.
and
So, Tintin, well, the difference is basically that that with a Restake app and Yieldmas, you're using the Restake app to make an offset, so the money stays in your wallet, and you give somebody authorization to take your yield and stake it for you back into your on behalf of your wallet. Whereas what we have built is a smart contract that goes between you and the validator. So you take the money, put it into the smart contract stakes it with the validators.
Kine,
Mhm.
I want to ask you because we are in like quite green period. A lot of crypto and including in the Cosmos ecosystem is going down. um, and a lot of these projects don't have actually funding, right? Like I did the video on Ume yesterday, and I know they have like $38 million, right?
Mhm.
And there is Agoric that has nearly $100 million
Mhm.
in the bank account.
Mhm.
And I feel like, hey, maybe those guys are safe, but maybe like maybe lending borrowing will not be a thing, so then it doesn't matter because then it will not survive. But there is a lot of chains in Cosmos that don't have funding.
Mhm.
um do you think a lot of them simply are going down and it's over? And if so, do you have any types of the chains that you personally look at and you feel like they're not gonna make it?
Um, I one thing I looked at was like I think there's a lot of projects that doesn't really give any kind of user benefits, and I think those ones are not going to survive. Whether
Which
it's
ones are these? Which ones are these?
that I don't want to dive down into that, but I think you see projects where you're kind of like, yeah, I can see a usage of this, and there's also projects where the usage is like, oh well, if I get in early enough, I can sell and then I can make money. I think the last ones they are probably always going to be around, but I doubt they will survive this downturn.
Hmm, hmm.
Uh, yeah, does that answer your question?
I guess I'm trying to, but like let's see, like with Restake validator pay the fee, and here,
I paid. Oh, we paid. 2 seconds. I just need to tie it in my
oh,
shoelace.
so you incentivize. Oh, I have H8KU. H8KU. Are you my milady person here? Have you heard of Milady's kind?
It was quickly mentioned to me, but I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
How it was mentioned to you?
Ruin and Stargaze were sitting and chatting, mentioned something with me, lady.
Yeah, because I'm mentioning them Miladies all the time. It's um my favorite NFT now, together with the Remedio babies. You do some work for Stargaze,
Mhm.
right? You said you do some freelance job for Stargaze. What is the job? Because I learned you are not developer, and I'm like, okay, so what
No,
what you do there? What you help them with?
some kind of weird mixture of a bit of thinking of the DeFi side, because I think what surprises me with that crew is it's very much DeFi focused, and I'm not used to that. It's also quite a bit of an eye opener to see how much emotions can go into what for me is basically just a JPEG. Yeah? And I come more
Mhm,
out of this DeFi background, was a bit like, yeah, but this pool needs incentivization, and I think that's where I can contribute to Stargazers. That's not really what they think most of, because they're an NFT platform.
mhm.
So things like that, I was part of putting the super cool staking concept together.
What's the
And
super
then
cool
it's
staking?
that is, yeah, like how do you, I mean, because like what, it goes a bit back to like if you have something like where you can stake an NFT, typically it's more like just a bribe, and you get some kind of token for locking it up on a contract or a chain or whatever. But that doesn't really do anything. So super cool staking is a idea of turning that around and say, okay, so could we use the NFTs to actually stake with a validator, so that it's real staking? And that's what super cool staking is. It has a shortcut to make it work, but I think it's a really good way of getting it done initially.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how it's gonna work. So for those who maybe don't know from the Cosmoverse stuff, apparently you will be able to stake the NFT with the
Mhm.
validator and it will be counted at the floor price, and that will be like variable, right? So people will be earning the yield on that. But I wonder, does it even contribute to the security of the network if it's not
Yes.
stars, or it's
So
more of the gimmick that you can stake
no,
it and get more?
no. It will actually go into a validator. So basically, the shortcut is that and it would probably only be a limited amount of. My accent is Danish. Thanks for asking. And we've been at war with Sweden, so it's a half insult, but I don't mind that. Um, the workaround is that for a governance approved community governance vote on which NFTs collections will be allowed to do super cool staking. So once you have one of those NFTs, it gives you access to a staking account, but not just a normal staking account. So think of it like you have the NFT, you put your stars into the NFT, and the NFT stakes it for you with the validator of your choice.
It's
There's
quite
a reason.
difficult.
Yeah, no, and yes and no, because let's say you then buy an NFT and it has a floor price of, you buy it for 1,000, it has a floor price of 500.
Hmm.
Uh, then you get access to the special staking account, and you can say, okay, so let's say I throw in 2,000 stars. Now,
Hmm.
on the 2,000 stars will then be put into the validator, staked
Hmm.
like you normally do. Uh, but the amount up to the floor price, you get bonus incentives because in the Stargaze tokenomics, 45% of the tokens, or is it 40? Let's say, I think it's 45, is set aside for NFT incentives, which have not been used. So I think the idea is going to be like we're going to land something like maybe we take a third of that and we use that for super cool staking. So suddenly you get extra incentives on the 500
Yeah.
up to the floor price.
And does the staking NFT actually contribute to the security of the network or not really?
Yes, it
Like,
does, because
oh,
those 2,000 stars you put into this account is going into a validator,
yeah.
just like stake normally.
I want to show you what Stargaze really need. Like, I'm also like affiliated with Stargaze. I'm trying to help them. Sometimes make some content. I try
Mhm.
to bring the artists. I'm not sure if you heard of the page nftx.io. It's really needed. Let me
Mhm.
present this. Let's use it as the something that maybe could be done. I actually discussed with the Shane as well. So this is my beloved Remedios, right?
Mhm.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to OpenSea, right? This is really cool idea for everyone who watch NFTs. If Rarma is still there and have raccoons, so you see OpenSea, the floor of Remedio is like 0.0649, right? With the
Mhm.
offers is this is the highest. But you also have this value here. So this value is essentially you add in the certain collection can be Remedio. It has does it has board tapes? Um, no, it doesn't have board tapes, right?
Mhm.
Oh no, there is. Is it? Is it this one? No, it's well, I'm going with deeper liquidity. So Remedio has the deeper, right? It has,
Mhm.
as you can see, 179 items. So you add to the value and you can earn staking rewards. And if I want to buy from the wallet, it's actually cheaper on the open than on the OpenSea. And all of these remedios are on this floor price. So it increases the liquidity of the network, right? So imagine
Mhm.
on the Stargaze we have the wallet, and people can provide to the wallet for the certain staking, or like the fees that come from that, because you can put the fee on top of the wallet, right? So you can see if I would stake it, uh, there is 34% APR. I think maybe it come from the fees. I'm not sure exactly how it works.
Mhm.
But this is something that would be truly needed, and that we don't have it on Cosmos. It's really cool. So let's say I want some of them, right? So I just simply pick that, and as the more I buy, the floor price is rising. So like usually this floor price is below what's on OpenSea, but if I would buy a lot, it would go up, right? So then it would make sense for people to stake. So as you stake, if I would choose the Remilio to stake, you can see that I'm exchanging one Remilio for one Remio token. And this token earn yield and can be used later to claim the NFT back. I think this is something like really cool. I absolutely like NFTX, especially
Mhm.
that you not bonded with like two NFTs at the floor price, but you have access to actually like 180, right? And like I do recommend you to see. Also, with this valued, you can also swap. So let's say you don't like some of your NFT, right? So you can simply take this NFT and then choose the other NFT that exists in the valued to swap it. And then
Mm.
there is of course the fee on top of that. But if you really don't like some NFT that you have, and imagine like let me close it. So yeah, like this is something absolutely amazing. Let's stop sharing. Imagine that I minted some NFT. I have some bad kit, and I absolutely don't like this bad kit.
Uh,
Like it's right.
it's the wrong
But
one for
then I
some reason.
go to the valued, and there is 100 bad kits, and I check, and some of them I like. So in order to get the bad kit that I like, I would have to spend 6.5 thousand stars. But imagine there is fee of 5% for swapping on top. And instead of wasting 6.5 thousand or trying to sell the NFT that I already don't like and be cut on the creator fee, I simply swap my token, my BadKit token, with other BadKit token in Valut. I do think it would be great for Stargaze. I hope I'm not really. This should be maybe private discussion, but I really like NFTX. I using this a lot, and I think this is some concept to discover. Not sure what's your thoughts.
Not knowing it, but I think it looks cool. I think some of the discussions are similar,
Mm-hmm.
um, in the sense like, I mean, we also discussed a bit of like pseudo swap internally, uh, compared to the difference
Mm-hmm.
we have with collection of offers and bids, and something is going to be developed in that direction. What exactly at the moment, I think we didn't decide on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not clear. But I'm sure we will do something in that direction. We as in Stargaze now.
S- Someone wanted to do a trade with me on SudoSwap, and I was afraid to do it. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was shady link or not, but it was weird person like messaging me. Do you have your some NFTs you hold?
I have a few NFTs, but I think what I got hold most dearly is by joining Stargaze. One of the founders gave me a bad kit. Um, I will never sell that because it carries a bit of emotional value now.
Tintin, I was sharing the socials. So, um, um, where is it? This is the Interstake. This is for product, and this is kind Twitter. So just find him. I will add this later under the video, or let me even add this now. I will add Kine from my under the video, and then you will be able to easily find it. Okay. So here is Kine Twitter. It will be in the description. Seems I cannot save it now for yeah, like after the chat. Um, there is one more like NFTs. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you see um any other use of the NFTs? I just want to know this at the end because
Even though I'm so non-NFT-ish, I kind of think this will be the future for a lot of blockchain. Because when I look around, most of the things I see in this world is NFTs somehow. Huh? I mean,
yeah.
even if we have two cars, there's a difference between your car and my car because my car have my dirt in it and your car have your dirt in it. Huh?
Hmm.
Um, and it's just not interchangeable. Real estate, NFTs. I think there's a lot of things where NFTs will really, really make a difference, but we're not there yet.
Hmm. I'm looking forward to Stargaze blog. I do want to see it, and I think the NFTs can bring the early age internet blogs, and you can like use them maybe to gate the access to someone, whatever. Like maybe you have some secrets, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But
some
also such
illegal
a
content.
but also
That's
such a simple thing as Stargaze names. I quite like this because suddenly you can send me stars on kind.stars.
Mhm.
I remember my first thought when I joined crypto was a bit like, dude, that reminds me of the first email addresses I remember getting, where you got like some random string. It looked like at, your username would be du32745 at aol.com. Huh? And you're a
Can I
bit like,
already use it? But no,
uh,
like Kepler
I
doesn't support it, right?
no, I think there's some wallets already building in some support. I don't know whether they want to announce
It's
that yet,
it's
but
Leap is building, I
okay.
think.
But
And
yes, if you managed to mint before it was paused, you could do it already.
yeah, it's really shame that the Kepler doesn't want to support it. It's this is the problem. Like, so I was using Leap. Like, they are closed source. They hesitate, but the wallet is really great. I'm in touch. I hope to confirm it's secure to use for people because, like, like Kepler is fucking around with others a little bit, and I don't like it. So I want to see other wallets that I could actually support because I want to say, like, Kepler doesn't want to support Stargaze names, which is pretty annoying.
I mean, I really like Josh from Kepler. I
Yeah,
think in a market economy, I mean, if we look at it, I would imagine Kepler to have like 99.9% of the market at the moment.
probably
I,
maybe not as much Cosmos. I think Cosmos Station has some. So
okay, but let's say 90%. But even 90%, I think, is unrealistically high in a free market.
yeah, it has to change, right? It really, like, Josh seems like nice guy, but it can, like, Kepler cannot have over 50%. It's pretty bad. Um, so anyway, Kain,
Mhm.
was pleasure. I'm waiting to discover your app. Probably make the video about this, and good luck with this. And hit me up if you have any news and anything you want to pass to me. So thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest
Thanks.
of your day.
You too.
Thank
Ciao.
you.